Good morning, welcome back to the farm. I'm Benj, this is Doing Outdoors, and it's been quite an eventful last couple of days really. Peanut Junior, she gave birth 2 days ago. They're having some breakfast now, but she's given birth to 9 healthy piglets. Real great stuff that is. The broody hen that was sat on eggs, she's hatched. Not as many chicks as I would have liked her to have hatched, but she's hatched 2 chicks. They're doing well. She's still locked up in this cage for now. They were hatched on Friday, so they're now 4 days old. I'm going to build her a separate pen with her own run, because if we let her out with the other chickens that are roaming, there's a good chance that the other hens will attack her chicks. So to make sure they're safe, before we let her out of here, we're going to build her own little enclosure. And the sun is absolutely beaming down on us today, and it's the first day we've had decent sunshine since last week. It's been rain, unfortunately. Well, let's go and have a look at the compost heaps. And they are doing really well, doing everything that I expected them to. Probably a little bit better, in fact. You can see here behind me, this is the compost that was from these 2 heaps. I turned them into this pile, and it was probably 8 inches taller than it is now, and it's gotten to a real good temperature. Right now she is about 60 degrees. You can just about see the red line on the red background, so that's doing really well. And then the compost heap, the newly made compost, well, this was right to the top. In fact, it was taller than the top when I left it last week, and this became really hot. This got as hot as 70 degrees. It's now just under 60, nearly 55. So I built this compost heap a week ago. That's when I first started building it. I actually completed it the day after, and it was probably 6 inches above the top of these wooden pallets. And you can see that it's probably reduced by up to half of its mass. It's got to a really high temperature really quick. Just like the compost that we turned. I didn't add any new material to that, only some water to the really dry material. And that's got to a real good temperature, so these are both cooking away, composting really well. But whilst the sun's shining, I'm going to get the lawnmower out and take some more of this green stuff from out the orchard. But also I've got a particular job in mind, and that is I'm going to start building my no-dig beds. I'm going to build them in this area where that wood pile is, and going back towards the caravans. That's where we're going to start the no-dig beds. Eventually I'm expecting this whole area to be covered, but just for this year, with the amount of material that I've got available and the time that I've got available, I just want to set up 2 or 3, I don't know, 15-foot beds. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to have them running from north to south or thereabouts. South is approximately in that direction, so I should be able to manage a north to south orientation. I've got Alfie in the wood. He's sieving some of the old wood chip for me for 2 reasons. 1, so we've got material to build this no-dig bed, and 2, the bigger chunks of wood chip that's coming off the top of the sieve, I'm using that within these compost bays, and that's giving it a good carbon rich layer, and I'm going to need quite a lot of it. Well, I've just noticed that Peanut Junior is no longer feeding the babies, so we're going to have a closer look at these little piglets. And it's very noisy up on the farm today. But look at all the different colours we've got. We've got some pure pink, some pure black, a brown saddleback looking thing. God, they're brilliant. There's nothing better than a couple of day-old piglets. Here comes Mummy. And she is a real good mum. Real steady, really calm. Just like her mum really. Bacon was the same. Not like Big Bertha. Big Bertha is really overprotective of her babies. Just wanted to kill you for getting anywhere near. What's up, Mama? Don't eat me welly boots. Not for eating, but she's doing a great job. To say she's only a young pig, but she gave birth effortlessly to these 9 piglets. She's feeding them well, making sure that she's not squashing them when she lays down. Real good mum, aren't you? Right, so I'll let these little piglets and Mummy Pig beat and go and crack on with some of my jobs. So I've actually got a bit of a helping hand today. Alfie's come to give his daddy a hand. We really need to get cracking on with these no-dig beds. And just a quick reminder that this is the wood chip that I'm adding to the compost. Obviously it's already been sat out in this woodland rotting away for God knows how many years, but there are still some big bits that haven't quite decomposed, but they are really soft and they break up quite easily. So my thought is putting these in amongst a load of grass cuttings and letting them compost down in a hotbed, a hot compost bed, for another year. This will add the good carbon layer that we need, but you can see it's just really breaking down. And we've got tons of this stuff, so it's good for the compost. So the material that we're left with once we've actually sieved that wood chip, I think it's quite good. And if you've seen my previous video, I planted some potatoes in some buckets. I did 4 buckets using shop bought compost, and then I did 4 buckets with the sieved wood chip from out of the wood. And already you can see a difference. They've only just started coming through, but you can see that the potatoes grown in the sieved wood chip, the plants are far bigger than the ones that are grown in the shop bought compost. So here's all 8 buckets. And you can see there's a clear difference between the left hand pots and the right hand pots. And I'm quite surprised that the pots on the left are the well rotted wood chip from out of the wood, and on the right that's the shop bought compost. I'd fully expect the shop bought compost to outperform, but I know it's early days, but just from this first show of growth you can really see there's quite a big difference in how big the potato plants are. And that's the stuff, that's what we're sieving out of the wood. Real good stuff. So first things first, before we start laying anything down for this no dig bed, I'm going to run over it with the lawnmower, just so we've got a nice even layer to lay our cardboard, to then get our compost on top of that. Well, I've got an area prepared now for us to lay our cardboard on. Alfie's still doing a bit of mowing because we're still trying to fill that compost heap. But whilst he's doing that, I'm going to fetch the materials we need to start this no dig bed, which is going to be some cardboard, and I'm going to use some bricks. So I'm using some bricks to edge this no dig system. They're about 4 inches deep, and unlike wood, they're not going to rot so easily. And I've got plenty of these knocking about, and the cardboard that I've got is some packaging from Light Fittings. Hopefully we've got enough. Once these are torn in half, they should give us a good base and stop the weeds and the grass coming back through, hopefully. Right, so we've got the very start of this no dig bed sorted out. Cardboard down and bricks around. It's not a very big area, but I haven't got tons of material to make this no dig bed with at the minute. But the beauty about making it with these bricks, they're not fixed down, so as and when we get more stuff to make more no dig beds, we'll pick the bricks up, lay more cardboard down and just carry it through in any direction we choose. Right next to this you can see all the bags. Now this is all the growing mediums we have to make this no dig bed with. We've got some shop bought compost. This is another type of compost that was bought in, not by myself. Someone bought a truckload, used what they needed, and that was what was left. And then at the end we've got the sieved wood chip. Now looking at the potatoes growing in the pots, I think we're going to get really good results out of this. This stuff I'm not sure about. Some quite big lumps of wood chip in it, but I'm told that it's mixed horse manure, well rotted wood chip and compost. Again, it should be good, but we're going to do a little bit of an experiment. Because we've got these 3 materials, I'm going to make 3 rows, each with their own material, and I'll plant the same number and same vegetables in each bed, just to see which one's going to outperform the other. And there we go. This is the first section of our no dig bed put down. And just to put into context how much compost we've used, where we've got the shop bought bagged stuff, we've used 8 40 litre bags, so 320 litres in each of these bays, and then the wood chip. And just to recap, more to remind myself than you, but we've got the sieved wood chip over here. This is the compost that I managed to get for free, that was delivered to someone else on a truck. and then the shop bought bagged compost. Quite a variation in the colours, but we'll just have to see how they go. But I'm really happy we've got something done today, and I couldn't have done it without Alf. He's done a great job. So yeah, a very productive day. First time I've had a good productive day in a while, but that's mainly due to the weather and not really being able to get out in it, or not wanting to get out in it at least. But I'm going to leave you there. I'm going home for some tea. Me and Alf have done a good job today, especially Alf. Been really proud of him. In fact, before we go, we're going to have to protect this with a chicken net, because already the chickens just want to get on there and scratch through the whole lot. So I'm going to go and get another electric fenced net system and put that around just to stop the chickens getting on and any other animals that want to come and eat the veg when we start planting out. When I've finally realised the full size of my growing area, I'll put a solid fence round, because there are a lot of hares, a lot of deer, and with the chickens that are roaming, and we'll probably have geese in the future, they'll all want to have a nibble, and we can't be having that. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.